Hello, dear students. We are in the dividend policy, and in the previous class, we discussed about the meaning of dividend policy, or meaning of dividend, and we also discussed about how dividend is declared or given, and we have also discussed stages in dividend policy or the types of dividend policies like conservative. Uh, Liberal and the payment of dividend along with the interim dividend and no dividend policies. And also we discussed the three factors which are helpful in determining the right kind of dividend policy, namely policy of the company, stability in earning, and the liquidity of the company. These three factors we discussed in the previous class. Today we'll continue with the same topic, that is factors determining a dividend policy. Now today, the fourth factor which determines the dividend policy is past dividend rates. Past dividend rates. Now here, dividend usually declared on the basis of the past dividend rates. So say for example, suppose in the past few years, company, if it declares a dividend at the rate of 20%, maybe in the past 4 years, let us assume that in the past 4 years, company has declared dividend at the rate of 20%. In the fifth year also, company tends to declare at the same rate. Okay, same rate. Suppose if the company has declared a dividend at the rate of 60 or 80% in the fifth year also, so shareholders expect with the same rate only. So if the rate is not same as previous, in that situation it will give a wrong messages to the shareholders. So because of that reason, company tends to keep similar rates that of the previous years. So this is the one thing. And another thing is that uh, always companies, they intended to give a dividend at the stabilized rate. That means there won't be any major variations from the rate of dividend from year to year. That means usually the rate of dividend is stable from year to year. But anyhow, so everything will depend upon the earning capacity. So if the profit is high, you can declare more dividend. So if the profit is very low, so you cannot declare more dividend, but it depends. But anyhow, your rate of dividend, the declaration of rate of dividend speaks more. In the case of having a moderate percentage of rewarding dividend policy, in that situation, there won't be any implications towards the shareholders. They cannot draw any conclusions. But if the company is habituous to reward um, 60 to 80% as a rate of dividend, and after few years, say for example 4 years, if the company has awarded rate of dividend at 60 to 80%, and in the fifth year, if it rewards its shareholders by 10%, in that situation it will give a wrong message. So because of this reason, always companies, they tend to give dividend at the stable rate, so there won't be much variations from year to year. So this is about the fourth factor which determines the right kind of dividend policy. Then next, the fifth one is projects under consideration. Projects under consideration. A firm may earn, or firm may have highest amount of profit, but the future projects okay, or the investment opportunities. Suppose if there are plenty of investment opportunities, or suppose there are many more projects that are to be undertaken by the company, and those projects are requires huge amount of funds. In that situation, the firm may not reward its shareholders, okay, and it may follow conservative approach of dividend policy, or it may follow no dividend policy also. But if there are no projects under consideration, or there are no opportunities for the growth for the company, okay, in that situation it may declare um, or it may follow liberal dividend policy. So this is about the fifth factor, so projects under consideration. Then the sixth thing is market expectation. Market expectations. When the shareholders expect for dividend, it has to be declared. Many shareholders of specific companies will have this kind of attitude. Say, for example, the shareholders of Infosys, HUL, okay, or TCS for that matter, they expect a high rate of dividend, high dividend, because every year you can observe, every year these IT firms, IT companies, they earn profits. Now, even in the case of recession also, this IT sector has earned a lot of profits, because the present digital era is of IT, okay. So because of this reason, usually this firm, they earn profit, and the shareholders of these companies, they expect a huge amount of dividend. So the market expectation, once the shareholders are expecting of getting a huge amount of reward or a huge amount of dividend, then it has to be declared. So otherwise, again, it will give a wrong implications. And if it once the wrong message, if it passes through the company to the shareholders, in that situation it will have a negative impact on its market value of shares. So this is about the sixth factor which influence over the selection of dividend policy. Then seventh one is taxation. Okay, taxation. At present, the dividend received from the current assessment year onwards, the dividend received from the companies are taxable in the hands of shareholders. Earlier, the the dividend received from Indian company was exempted in the hands of the shareholders, but now the dividend received from the Indian companies is taxable in the hands of uh, shareholders. And note to be a point to be noted here, that you should note that the dividend received in excess of rupees 5,000 is taxable in the hands of the shareholders. Okay, in excess of 5,000 is taxable in the hands of shareholders. Now here, uh, previous to this current assessment year, or previous to this year, the rule was like the company itself has to pay the tax in the form of corporate dividend tax, and because of that reason, the whatever dividend received by the shareholders was made exempted in the hands of the shareholders. But now, from the current assessment year, the rule has been changed, and there is no corporate dividend tax on the part of the companies. Whatever income received by the shareholders in the form of dividend in excess of rupees 5,000 is from current assessment year is made taxable. So because of this reason, we can expect high rate of dividend declaration from the upcoming years, in the from this year onwards, and maybe from the upcoming years we can expect a high amount of dividend declaration because of this abolition of corporate dividend tax concept. Now, earlier the taxation, there was a tax on dividend on companies. So companies used to make a calculative step while declaring dividend, and so many of the companies have followed the conservative approach of dividend policy. And maybe from as I have said earlier, maybe from upcoming years, we can observe the liberal dividend policy while declaring the dividend. So this is about the seventh factor, that is taxation. Then eighth one is legal restriction. Legal restrictions. So now here, this legal restrictions that I am going to talk about is about only a Companies Act of 1956, okay, and not of 2013. So as per the Companies Act of 1956, there was a provision that the certain percentage of profit that has to be transferred to the reserve, and after transfer to that reserve, so whatever profit remains, that has to be declared as a dividend to the shareholders. And because of this legal restrictions, companies which are having lower profits after transferring to reserve, they tend to follow either conservative approach or no dividend policy approach. Okay, so this is about it. So legal restrictions also will have an impact over the taking decision on the right kind of dividend policy. Then ninth one is independent opportunities. Now here independent opportunities in the sense, so whenever a firm is having more opportunities to grow, okay, independent opportunities. So whenever firm is having more opportunities to grow in the form of investment, in that situation, they turn all the profit earned to that particular project, or to they make all the profit in the as investment, and so the profit available is less to declare dividend, so they can they may follow the conservative approach or no dividend policy. On the other hand, if there is lower opportunities to expand or to grow, in that situation, the profit, whatever profit earned, that will be held in the firm only, so they can declare more dividend. So this is about the independent opportunities. The next, restrictions of financial institutions. The restrictions of financial institutions. Here financial institutions like bank, okay, other financial institutions, okay, or maybe the creditors or the lenders, they may put restrictions on taking a dividend policy decisions, or they may put restrictions on declaring dividend. So here, whenever a firm is in a liquidity crunch, in that situation, it won't be having sufficient amount with themselves to declare or to service loans. To service loans in the sense, they have to pay interest, or they have to pay principal amount to the lenders or to the creditors or to the financial institutions from which a loan have been taken. Okay, so here these firms, they put restrictions on declaring dividend, or they may not allow companies to declare dividend in order to safeguard their interest, or in order to in order to get their contribution return, they may put restrictions. So this is about the 10th factor, restrictions of financial institutions. The next, the 11th one is nature of business. Nature of business. So here, the business which is in the field of earning lower margin or lower profit may follow conservative dividend policy, and the firm which is in the field of business where it can earn a higher rate of profit or higher margin, it may follow liberal dividend policy. So this is about the nature of business. The next, the 12th factor which influence over the selection of dividend policy is cost of capital. When the company can raise the funds at a lower cost, it may prefer liberal dividend policy. So when there is the um, raising cost of capital is very low, in that situation it may follow liberal dividend policy, and when the cost of raising capital is high, in that situation they may follow the conservative dividend policy. The next, the third one is, 13th one is phase of trade cycle. Trade or business cycle. You know the business cycle, okay? So here, so introduction, growth, maturity or peak, saturation, decline, then finally out of the market. Okay, so this is the rough business cycle here. Now it depends in which cycle the business is situated. So when the business is in growth and in a matured situation, it will be having a lot of profit. Okay, so they can follow liberal dividend policy, whereas a firm is situated in a saturation or a decline position. In that situation, they won't be having any much returns here. Okay, the profit part would going to be lesser and lesser whenever a firm reaches to saturation from peak and from and to decline from saturation. Okay, so in that situation they won't be having much profit, so they may follow the conservative approach of dividend policy. So again, here the phase or trade cycle that will have an impact over the uh, business dividend policy decisions. And another cycle is there, that is business cycle, boom and depression. Okay, so in the case of boom period, so there will be high profit generation, product sale will be high at the highest, so there will be high profit, so high dividend can be paid. So in the case of recession, so in the case of economy, in the case of recession, there will not be much sales. Okay, which ultimately generates lower profit, and lower profit ultimately, because of the lower profit, company may follow or may reward lower amount of dividend, or may follow conservative or no dividend policy approach. So this is about the 13th point. And the next one is 14th one is accumulated reserves. Accumulated reserves. Now here, accumulated reserves are nothing but it's a past year's profit kept aside, okay, in the reserves. Now whenever a firm is earning a huge amount of profit, they can declare liberal, they can opt for liberal dividend policy out of this high reserves, or they may opt for certain other measures like buyback of shares out of these reserves. Okay, they can do so in order to inflate the market prices of the shares. Whenever they think that their shares are undervalued in the market, they can go for buybacking of shares. Okay, so ultimately this buyback of shares will move share prices, okay, or will fluctuate the share prices, so that the existing shareholders can have a benefit. And the companies which are having lower amount of reserves may opt for conservative or no dividend policy. So this is about the accumulated reserves. And the 15th factor is growth needs of the company. When there are opportunities, as I said earlier, when there are opportunities, companies may not give a high rate of dividend to keep fund with themselves, or to utilize that profit part for the future investment, and low dividend or no dividend may be paid. And anyhow, a company, for this company have to convince the shareholders who are in expectation of getting dividend. So they have to communicate with the shareholders about this measure, and they have to convince the shareholders that in future their market price of shares would be increased by taking this step. Okay, like that. So whatever company takes decision, that has to be conveyed to the shareholders, and shareholders must be convinced with the steps or measures taken by the company, or otherwise if they are not convinced by the company's steps, then the outcome may be disastrous to the company in the way there may be a fall in share prices in the market, or it may have a negative impact in the market. So this is about the factors which influence in determining the right dividend policy. So this is about the concept of dividend policy, and I think for today's session it's sufficient, and we'll see you in the offline class. If everything goes well, so we'll meet you in the offline class. If not, so if it is if not, then we'll see. We won't be having any other option. We have to meet through online only. Okay, see you soon in the classes. Thank you.